Hey everyone, how's it going? It is either real Randy Chavez coming at you today with a Veve, OMI, or Grumpycat 4chan update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. For not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. And then become a member, and then also wraithax.eth domain name. So there's a couple things to go over today. I'll start off with Grumpycat. There's a couple of people that want to do the cat diet, and they want to eat exactly what a grumpy cat would eat. Nothing pretty much but meat or fish and water, obviously. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to see how it goes. I think that'd be pretty fun. It's basically just kind of like a meat eater's diet, with carnivore diet. So it's, obviously ask your doctor before doing anything. Not medical advice. I just thought it'd be fun. Grumpycat does have an announcement coming within like the next 24 hours. Like it should be probably by tomorrow's video or before tomorrow's video, we should have an announcement for Grumpycat. I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be. I'm guessing a lower tier exchange, but we'll see. Speaking of exchanges, we do have 4chan. 4chan has an exchange announcement coming on Wednesday, and you'll actually be able to trade on that particular exchange the day after. It will be on Thursday. I think that's why you saw a meteoric rise, a little bit of a dip after that. Again, a few days ago, it went from like a couple million all the way up to 20 million. It was gaining about 1 million market cap per hour. I think that was just the exchange getting, you know, whatever it could, buying a bunch of stuff, and then people taking some profits. Went down to 9 million, back up to over 23 million again today. So I did tell a couple of my friends, hey, this could definitely 10x as well. Sure, you know, it's already done like a, what is it? It's already done like a 30x since I first got in. But I told some of my friends, like, listen, this could still do another 10x, but I think Grumpycat is easier to do a 10x than 4chan. Again, I could be wrong. I was wrong before. I put most of my available funds into Grumpycat and very, very little into 4chan. And if I would have done the opposite, I'd have like $200,000 right now, but I did not. Anyway, outside of that, talking about OMI a little bit, we are still waiting for the entire OMI utility article. We are getting pieces here and there, which is really fun. OMI on the day, I don't think did great, but let me go and take a look for you. It's actually up 0.7%, but again, only $600,000 in volume over the last 24 hours. It's still at 0005787. We had Jordan Rees over on Twitter the other day. It's like, hey, everyone, where's 0004? I'm waiting, even though he already has 200 million OMIs. So he already has a lot. Like, he doesn't need more. But if it goes down there, you know, and it shouldn't take too much to bring it down there. I mean, all you need is one whale to get liquidated in another thing. Like, God forbid there's something else that happens in the macro that just forces someone to get liquidated. They sell 1 billion or so OMI, and then, you know, we possibly go down there. If we do, like I said, I'll probably buy a little bit more, again, at 172 million. I don't need that much more. My goal is to get to 200 million at some point, but right now, just because I've been in Grumpycat, I bought those Luke Skywalkers, I've been in 4chan, and I'm making another big purchase. Like, a lot of my funds have gone to other places lately, but again, I will still buy OMI at other points. Moving on. So I don't want to go too big into the macro, but I will say this. You do have Fidelity Investments reportedly filing a BlackRock type spot Bitcoin ETF, and they want to acquire Grayscale as well. If you don't know, Fidelity, which is the world's third largest asset management firm, which has 4.2 trillion in assets under management, which is 6 trillion behind BlackRock, but still quite a lot. When you have someone like that go and say, hey, we want to do a Bitcoin ETF as well, you know, everyone's really going to be bound to listen. That being said, but the acquiring Grayscale is the big thing, because Grayscale has about $17 billion in Bitcoin, and that's what Bitcoin's valued at right now. That could go, again, that could be 34 billion in just a couple months if it decides to go and run like a lot of people are expecting it to. If they go and they do that, again, what would be the easier thing to do? Oh, let me put 17 billion into the crypto market, inject it right into Bitcoin. The price is going to move with that much money going. But instead, if you could just acquire Grayscale, you get that 17 billion in Bitcoin just all at once through the acquisition. So I think that's a much better thing for them to do. And again, when you see all these companies doing this, like, you know what's coming. Like, we're reading the writing on the walls. Bitcoin's about to go moon. When? I'm not sure, but these are... It's going to be before the Bitcoin halving we start to go up. In my opinion, this is not financial advice. Also, we have, I'll find his name on Twitter real quick. Plan B, I can never remember his name. Has 1.8 million followers, or he's at 100, the numerals 100 trillion USD over on Twitter. And he made a tweet before saying, RSI stuck around 50, patiently awaiting the pump. And this person just super technical. The analysis is key. Go give him a follow. Watch his videos. Definitely learn a lot. This dude, I don't think has ever been wrong in like the while that I've been following him. Comment down below if you like, oh, he made this prediction, the opposite happens. Again, by all means, comment down below. I want to learn. But yeah, just when you see people that have a lot of money and they're doing something, oh, okay, they're probably smart. They got that amount of money. Anyway, he says the next halving price is going to be above 32,000. So he believes that once the halving happens in April, Bitcoin will be above that 32,000 mark. That's not a doubling, but if it is, he doesn't exactly say where above the 32. It could be 32.1. It could be 40. It could be 50. I don't know. Comment down below your predictions. All right, getting into that Veve news, 6 minutes into the video. We have somebody that I was saying yesterday that we had a pretty good job with the Ron English drop and made over $100,000 for Veve. I was like, this will probably sell out at some point over the next month or so. We have somebody, I won't call him out, that says no need to hurry. You have a whole year till this sells out. Again, there's less than like $25,000 left in order to mint some of these. So meaning that if you have $25,000 and you want to go and mint every single one of these, you can. It's going to be less than that. You can only put in, I think, like 21 or so. But there's not a ton of these left for those Ron English ones. I'll make a bet right now saying those sell out well before the end of the year, probably before the end of Q3. So if anyone wants to take me up on that bet, let me know. David Yu had retweeted Veve Digital Collectibles when talking about Ubisoft, says amazing week of meetings and looking forward to executing and building these partnerships. So if you go and take a look at some of the Ubisoft partnerships and stuff that they have, just go from like back in the day, like just in the 90s, not even recent stuff, but in the 90s they had a plethora of stuff called Zombie, Trivial Pursuit, Asphalt, Defender of the Crown, La Maîtresse Ames, La Necromancion, Mange Clos, Saint Crack, Night Hunter, Crack, Bat, Defender of the Crown, Final Command, Fred, Iliad, Intruder, Iron Lad Pro Tennis Tour, Othello Killer, Puffy Saga, oh, that's an interesting one, Skateball, Twin World, Land of Vision, Bat, Brain Blasters, Fred, Hex Slider. Basically, there's a list of like hundreds of these that goes on. Bomberman was the one that I was really interested in. I think that's something that could be really cool. And a lot of the licenses do overlap with Veve. Like, they've had Star Wars games. They've had other different types of games associated with Disney and Marvel and all the Star Wars stuff. We're just like, okay, we have them. Let's get them. And again, we already have Rabbids as well. And here's the conspiracy part of me. Here's the thinking that the speculation, which I know some of y'all come for. When you go and you take a look at why Ubisoft came with us, well, we weren't the first appearance of the Rabbids on the blockchain. That goes to Sandbox. You've had so many people, like, let's just say Janine Yorio, who had a $60 million funding round with Andreessen Horowitz last year. Most of that had gone into, she's CEO of Every Realm. Most of that had gone into the metaverse and NFTs and all that. A lot of it was in Sandbox. I think at one point she was the largest landowner in Sandbox. I think she's number 2 now. Number 2. Why am I making all these potty jokes? Anyway, when you go and you take a look at what a lot of these investments have done, and I know they are a spinoff of Republic. Republic is, I think, just a minor investor in them now. Ken Gwynn, CEO of Republic's been on the podcast as well. Ken Gwynn, go watch that. That's really informative. He's a really great guy. You take a look at a lot of these things and, what are they doing? Well, there's a lot of hype behind them. You have, I think, Nas and Lil Baby and Sandbox that partnered with Sandbox, and it's good. Those are good people to have, but I mean, I don't see that many people actively on there. Same with Decentraland. I don't see that many people actively doing that. Look at the KPIs of the Telegrams and the Discords and the actual number of users that they have. Veve has more. So I think that Ubisoft has seen stuff like that where like, oh, hey, we did this on Sandbox and we made a little bit amount of money. We tried one thing with Veve, sold out instantly. And now they're saying they want to do more and they want to continue to push the limits. If they want to continue to push the limits, I mean, they're not just talking about NFTs. They've already done a high-end digital collectible with Veve. So that's not pushing the limit if you do the same thing just with different characters. Pushing the limits, I think, would be potentially going into the Veveverse. We do know that we have IP-branded worlds. We don't know which ones they are. I'm going to try to reel in the speculation a little bit because everyone's like, yo, do you think Disney's going to be an IP-branded world? Guys, Bob Iger literally just fired their metaverse team like a few months ago. I don't think they're going to be one of the first IP branded worlds, if at all. Some of the first ones would probably be the smaller ones that you might expect. They might be like, I don't know, like Mermacornos or Cartoon Network or Kripken, something like that. Some of like the smaller things. I wouldn't expect like a Marvel verse or a Disney verse or a DC verse. DC's all messed up this weekend. Everyone comment F down below, pay respects to the box office numbers that The Flash had. I do think that Ubisoft, when they are talking about pushing the limits, I think they are talking about the metaverse. Because again, it doesn't really make sense with them saying, oh, let's push the limits and let's do the exact same thing that we did. Just take more characters and make them more digital collectibles. I think that it would, when they talk about pushing the limits, I think talking about, hey, what if we got these high-end collectibles, these high-end digital NFTs, and we go and we put them in the metaverse, in your metaverse to start. And I know what you're saying. Well, Chavez, why on earth would they why wouldn't they just do their own metaverse? Why would they want to go with Veve? Well, it's possible to do both. Like you can have both. You realize that, right? You can go and say, guess what? We are building our own metaverse. Let's say if I'm the CEO of Ubisoft, it's like, all right, we're building our own metaverse. And then you see that, okay, Veve, in our discussions, you've mentioned your Veveverse, your metaverse. What do you got going on there? And if I'm David, if I'm Dan, if I'm whoever's pitching these guys, I'd be like, well, we're gonna have you sign an NDA, and we're gonna be like, okay, we have these people, these people, these people. If it's anyone that we're hoping it is, if I'm Ubisoft, and Ubisoft's nothing to sneer at, the $9 billion company, I would be like, okay, well, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with these companies, and even if it's not, and I'm not saying like, oh, we're not going to do our own metaverse now. If I'm the CEO of Ubisoft, I'd say, okay, we're going to do our own metaverse. What you have going on here looks like it's a proven system of success for high-end digital collectibles. Veveverse, to be determined, yet to be seen, but you have a lot of people signed on, more so than I think anyone else. And when you go and you take a look at that, like, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is that if I'm Ubisoft and I lend some of my IP to Veve for their Veveverse, worst case scenario is that it doesn't work out, it's a mess, and at least I, as CEO of Ubisoft, knows what not to do in my metaverse. That is the worst case scenario. Absolute worst. Best case scenario, it is a hit. Or a best case scenario for them would be like, oh, it's really good. They can learn what to do, what not to do, and then theirs become like a big hit. Most probable scenario is that it'll be good. It'll, garner some interest for them. Either way, I really don't see any negative scenarios for them to lend Veve their IP for the Veveverse. Again, this is just speculation, and this whole thing could never happen. But again, it's just something that my mind was thinking of, and I figured you'd like to know. Okay, I mentioned Flash before with their lackluster box office. We also have Elemental that had the worst opening in modern Pixar history with $29.5 million domestic. The film's budget was $200 million. I don't know if those Elemental NFTs on Veve are going to do a lot. The Little Mermaid ones, I think, will do fairly well because that had made quite a bit more money than Elemental ones that was live action, and you have every generation that went to see that. You have the older generation like myself that kind of grew up with Little Mermaid, like, oh, they want to see this one. It's cool. I didn't see it. I just heard it was pretty good. Then you have the newer generation, like, oh, it's Disney, live action, good music, good CGI, whatever. And then maybe the older crowd that want to take their grandkids, kids, whatever. So I if I had an opinion on which poster set I would probably get the Little Mermaid ones. The movie did better. It's just a bigger IP. The actual collectibles are rarer. They're scarcer. They came before the Elemental ones. I don't know. In just my opinion, those seem a little bit better. Obviously, if you like the Elemental ones, some of them do look really cool. I'm not trying to take a poop on the Elemental ones. Some of them, they do look cool. I've seen people buy them. It's just kind of one or the other. I would pick that one. But if you like the art on the other one, by all means, go with that. Okay, 2 announcements here. One, we have the first appearance of Dazzler, which is coming out tomorrow in a comic book. I have next to no information on this. I mean, I know that it's pretty scarce. There's only 5,000 editions for them. At $7, they'll probably sell out just because some of the secret rares are super, super scarce. People like to gamble. But that's not what y'all are here for. Y'all are here for the Hulk. So it turns out that their Professor Jacket, potion bottle, or test tube bottle and explosion turns out to be the Hulk. I think Alex is the one that really teased this, where it's like Purple Pants Party. Said that the other day, and then said that today after it came out that we were getting the Incredible Hulk #1. This one, guys, this is a grail. I'll go over some of the numbers real quick. You have, even in the lower grades, like a 2.0 last sold for $14,000. Like, even in the lower grades, it's still in the 5 figures. I think a 1.4 is on eBay right now, and they want $14K. It's been there for a while, so I don't think they'll get it. If someone might offer like $12K, they'll probably take it. But again, even in the lower grades, 1.5 maybe that is. In the lower grades, it's still 5 figures. But in the higher grades, whew, lordy, you start getting into the 6 figures at an 8.0. The last one that 8.0 sold for was $135,000. The last that a 9.0 sold for, which was 4 years ago, was $216,000. And a 9.2 4 years ago sold for $336,000, $1/3 of $1 million. And the rare and ultra rare, which are exclusive to Veve, it's the first time we're ever seeing these, the covers, they look really cool too. There's no reason not to go for these. Now, we don't know the actual supply. Probably going to be 10,000. I guess there could be 20 if they really want to go for it. If they want to make like 40K, like, okay, we'll do 20,000. At $20, that's a lot. Yeah, that'd be 400,000. I don't know how many of the people will get that. If they do $20, then they might put it at like 10,000. It's still $200,000. It's still a lot. We don't have that yet. We'll get the Veve blog post article on probably Wednesday, because it comes out on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Already told the boss man, it's like, hey, we're gonna be late to work this day, because we're getting this drop, right? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Chavez. I'm trying to enjoy my Juneteenth. I was like, listen, Thursday. And, hopefully I'll remind him tomorrow. There shouldn't be any reason not to go for that. I feel like even the commons should be well above retail. Again, depending on the price. If it's 20,000 copies and they're $20 per, then yeah, maybe the uncommons might go below, commons might go below. But we've had comic runs that have had 35. There was the last Tarzan one, had 3,500 copies. It's pretty light. And I'm not saying this one's going to have it. I think this one should be, 10K, 10,000 editions at, $7. I think that'd be fun. But again, it is a kind of a grail one, so we'll keep you posted. So somebody messaged me saying, hey, why is nobody talking about this? And it's an article saying Niantic and Capcom are developing an open world, are developing an open world Monster Hunter AR game. And that's probably going to be cool. That's probably something I'll check out. But this kind of reminds me of Harry Potter Wizards Unite, where, I'm not gonna lie, I played that a little bit more than I would like to admit. Obviously, gotta love the Harry Potter. Shout out to all the fans. Shout out to Fanny Carbonell for actually being in the franchise. I don't know how the heck you do that. Anyway, it reminds me of when that came out. It was cool for a little while, and Harry Potter is one of the biggest IPs in the world, and it didn't last. Pokemon Go is the only one that I know of that is... Niantic had the AR game, super successful, still going on, still lots of events all the time. That's the only one. So when I see something like again, Monster Hunter, Niantic doing this really cool thing, with Capcom involved, it could be cool. I'll definitely check it out. But you really have to hit something special to kind of make people do that. Like, you really have to go and do something that's never been done before. And I approach those types of things very skeptically. It's like when everyone would be like, this is the new Veve killer. This could be the next Veve. And it's like, I get very skeptical because I see a lot of these companies that promise the world, they raise a lot of money, and they just don't make a lot. You just can't buy that type of success. I mean, you can try to. You could buy certain licenses. You can have funding rounds, and you could raise tens of millions of dollars. And, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Well, I won't say it won't matter, but at the end of the day, that's not, money's not the end all be all. Have to catch that lightning in a bottle. Oh, speaking of movie math, we have Mr. MC1 saying, congratulations on the $500 million blockbuster Spider-Man, so $500 million for the Across the Spider-Verse, which I thought was really cool. Cool. Crypto Rain had said, even in the current price level is totally disconnected, talking about OMI, from the performance of Veve. Veve is crushing just about any other digital collectibles project out there in sales, traction, and community, even with the problems. Please go cheaper, as in he wants the price to go cheaper and he wants to be able to buy more. I'll be on his podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, so that'll be really fun. Can't wait for that. Yes, here's Alex's purple pants that he had tweeted the other day. I do have a lot of other stuff to go over, but this video is already 20 minutes, so I'll stop it here, and we'll do another one at some point. Everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I love you guys. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. Bye, guys. Meow, 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 meow.